Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here, and welcome to another episode of ISGP Talk Season 3. Today, I am joined by the one, the only, Conor David, MrGamesendy. It's a pleasure to have you on. How are you feeling?
Good. Thanks very much for having me on, CrystalFissure. Really looking forward to this, and I'd just like to apologise for my hair in advance, guys. Ireland's in the middle of a lockdown, and hairdressers aren't open, so just get out of the way first. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Fisher.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Yes, I know. The stark contrast right now between your haircut, very, very long, probably longest you've ever had it, I'd guess, and me, one of the shortest I've ever had.
Certainly up there anyway.
As I'm able to get my regular haircuts, a real contrast, unfortunately, in the kind of restrictions that you and I face are quite the opposite. Yeah. But we'll talk about plenty of stuff outside of the tournament after this. But I thought it would be a good idea to start off on talking about Spyro Speedruns Cup 2021, because this is going up. You have indeed made it to the semi-finals, which is a huge accomplishment. So let's talk a little bit about this tournament. How do you feel like you've gone so far?
Yeah, well, the tournament has been excellent, fantastic. Always have great fun in these tournaments. Group Shiozaki, which is the round one group I was in. Great group of people. I was very happy when I saw that the group when I seen who I was going to be with. Always a great balance between speedrunning ability, entertainment, and just people who gel really well together. Yeah. I knew as well it was going to be a tough group because you've got G4 who won the Classic League back in 2018. You got Desert Monkey JK, who was really good in round one. You got yourself, who got to the Classic League semi-final last year. Myself, obviously, same as well as yourself, got to the Classic League semi-final. Noah McDavid, half a tag team champion, and Brandon Black Jake, who is actually capable of getting the good result. Actually, he's actually a lot better, I think. Yeah. Exactly. Hello, man. I think that he's definitely a lot better than he gets credit for. I think he just doesn't put as much effort in sometimes. No. But when he does, right. I think he actually is a very competent runner. He's capable.
How long it will take him to get there could be 1 month, could be 2 months, could be 10 years. But we'll see him. We'll see him up the top one day, or near the top, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, you're right. It was a very good group. It was a very formidable group. And yeah, I think that you did a really good job. Pretty much everyone predicted you would make it through. Most people did, I believe. I think really where it was split was probably between you and I. Some people thought you would get third. Some people thought I would get third. And as it went, in our first Spyro singles match, I was able to clinch the victory. But really, that was one of my favorite races, actually, I've ever done. I really enjoyed it. And it was a really close race, too.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. It was very close. It was one of my favorite races as well. And I think Shiozaki was a fantastic group. It was very, very well balanced. Our race was really close. G-Force's Desert Monkey was really close. All the matches were really, really close.
Me versus Noelle ended up being way closer too. Yeah. She almost had me if she didn't screw up a few little things near the start. So, yeah, I'm in the middle. But yeah, you're right. Definitely.
It really shows the standard, in the groups, actually. You had, me versus Noelle, for example, that was the winner takes all. You were going to have a Classic League semi-finals from last year or half a tag champion gone in round one.
Yeah.
And, I think, Noelle McDavid, for me, she was one of the most unlucky competitors not to get to round two, because I think she actually played quite well, even though she did finish fifth, ultimately.
That's right. I think, as well as that, I think it would be remiss if we didn't bring up the fact that she really wasn't in optimal circumstances. She had to go to all these different people's houses to play the game because of her internet being out for 7 weeks. So, in a different world, personally, I think she would have been capable of defeating both me and you, potentially if luck had gone a bit better her way. But unfortunately, that's the thing about the Spyro Speedruns Cup. it is not so much in round one. It is unforgiving because really you do get an ample chance. But now, as I'm about to say, heading into past the qualifying round, it is the most merciless tournament, type you can have. It's just one and you're out. And so you being paired up, as fourth place, being paired up against a first placer in Daniel Davidson from Group Sugiura, that probably, I would say, would have been one, but if not possibly the most difficult first place, the most difficult challenge in the entire tournament, so far. But what happened?
I managed to scrape a victory.
In Japanese, right? Spyro won Japanese.
Spyro won Japanese, Misty Bog 100%, and then just unlock, destroy, whatever you want to call it, the key chests in Stonehill and Dark Hollow.
Yep. And that's the thing, you were able to pull that victory out. Pretty crazy to think about because Dan is an unbelievable player. And while I would call you a great player as well, he made it to the grand final in his first tournament. That's very impressive. Like, that is very impressive. Quite frankly, if you ask me, he leapfrogged a lot of veterans in one go. In one tournament, if you ask me. But you were able to defeat him. So that puts you in the only group rematch, which we won't talk about the match, which hasn't happened yet, I guess. But that puts you against Dessert Monkey. How do you feel going into that? Are you confident? Are you not confident? What are you thinking? It's a rematch from Shiozaki.
Yep, a rematch for Shiozaki. Our third race as well, actually. We raced last year in ISGP 2.
Yeah, you love this guy.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. It's like sharing the love, But I'm feeling quite confident. I think you need to have belief, no matter who you're racing. Even though I knew Dan Davison was the favorite, and I was totally aware of his skill level, no one was getting away with that. But you have to, for me, go in with believing you can win. I think if you're gonna go in saying, as long as I just kind of haven't put on a good show here and lose, that's fine. I think that you have to full on confidence in yourself and believe that you can pull it off, because who knows, sometimes if you use say if someone it's okay if someone predicts maybe you mightn't win, but if you use that in the right way, it can inspire you. Even with me and Dan, for example, we would have a lot of similar kind of skill leveling games in a way. Our strongest game would be the same, and that's my thing. My headphones are. So Daniel would have the same strongest game as me, and then with same weakest game, same in between game. But Adam, it'll be a tough task. He's kind of one of those racers that's kind of hard to play in a way, because sometimes he can go really well or not go so well, so it's kind of hard which Adam you're going to get. But he's a very good runner. I think he plays with strengths really well.
That's true.
So I think it's going to be a very interesting match. I think it's a very much a very 50-50 game. I think it'll be a cracking game. Whatever the result, I think it'll be a good test for whoever wins that going into the next round.
Yeah, heading into the block finals, But we will find out more about that this week as it premieres on the channel, which is going to be really, really exciting. Shit's heating up. Shit is heating up big time. But before, as well, another topic, to do with the tournaments as well, briefly, like I did with Vitus and Toonie and stuff like that, revisiting ISGP 2. I know you had a lot to say about your Group A. Particularly its nickname that it was, I think, unfairly given. Talk a little bit about that.
Group A of ISGP2, brilliant group of people, very good runners, you got Agor, we got Angus, who I finally got to race actually. I never got to race Angus actually. I've been racing for 10 years alongside Angus, and last year was the first time we ever actually raced. Yeah, that's wild. Which was amazing. That was amazing. We had Yogomonyo, and he decided to beat Scorch in one of the later matches. His famous quote. Mike's caliber was very good. And of course, we got Marcus. Everyone knows Marcus' skill and how well he's doing. He could be in a Billy Block final at some point. maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Billy Block final. I just love that term. Yeah, I love it. Billy Block. I'll never
The
get
BB
old
Block
of.
idol.
I'll never tire of my own naming conventions. I just love it. I love people saying that shit I make up. But yeah, Billy Block. No, and I think the thing about Group A from ISGP2, if you look at it from a legacy perspective, you know, who went through, who's done well.
Yeah.
Look at what's happened. You've seen yourself and Marcus go through. Amelia and Yogamonia, who missed out, they went through in the top 3 and top 2 of their groups. And then you had the top placer, Angus, actually get eliminated because his group was so difficult that he was put into an extremely tough group. And he was the group leader of A. So that, I think, is proof that Group A is actually maybe they weren't so good back then. Maybe they weren't as good as they are now, but their improvement since then has proved that I think that Group A ended up being, if basically put it this way, if you put Group A together today, it would be way more difficult. It would be way harder. There would be no guarantees who'd be first to fourth in that case, because you'd have Amelia and Yogamonia really creeping up to you guys as well, you, Marcus, and stuff like that. So yeah, who was fourth in your group again?
Medi Excalibur, and that was a very close race with him and Yoga as well. I think there was only say 20 seconds between it. Exactly. But yeah, that's the thing with Group A. This is my opinion. I didn't think it was the easy group because I just felt that actually the people maybe did it. It didn't always feel like that when I was racing the matches. I know it might have looked like from the outside that, oh, look at Sendy's winning again, Marcus is winning again, Angus is winning again. But that was my first tournament in a long time. For me, there was my mindset was there's no guarantee that I'm getting through in this group. I found he was able to get on a good run, and we did have some shocks kind of in between. We had Amelia beating Marcus, which I think that sometimes is forgotten about actually. I think she's done quite well as well. She was one of the good friends I made during a tournament last year. And you know Amelia quite well, I believe, Andrew.
I think so. I think I know her pretty well, somewhat. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. She's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, and just on that as well, the Group A thing. I think I was in the calculation, but I believe 6 of the 7 returnees who came back for this tournament all have got to round 2, excluding Angus.
Except Angus. Except the top player.
Yeah.
Of that group.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that may be the highest representation from past groups in this tournament that I've got to the next round.
It's definitely pretty high. Although I would assume that if everyone from Group B, let's say theoretically everyone from Group B was back, I would assume they'd go through too. That was a very talented group as well at the time. Yeah. Group C, not so much, and Group D, yes. I think as well, Group D would have done quite well, I think, realistically. But yeah, no, I mean, realistically, I think a lot of people have improved since ISGP2.
Careful.
So by the time we get to ISGP3, it's going to be a very interesting world of speedrunning. I think there's going to be lots and lots of competition. It's going to be the hardest competition yet.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see the what pairings come up actually, because there's so many great pairings that we haven't even seen yet, and I think
True.
I want to say props to the hosts here as well, guys. I think they did a great job this tournament with balancing out the group for entertainment, speedrunning wise. I think there was literally no easy group this time around. Literally, I was even looking at some of the other groups at times and wondering, okay, I had this person to go down to get through. Now I'm wondering, are they going to get through now?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think, there was harder ones and easier ones, but there was no easiest group for sure. I think there was definitely, or rather, there was the gap between the easiest and hardest wasn't massive. It wasn't like a massive gap between what would be the easiest and what would be the hardest. But yeah, I agree. And I know I'm again, very much proud of how Spyro's Balloons Cup 2021 has gone so far, especially with the pairing, especially with some of the new matches, some of the repeat matches, some of the matches that have set up and leading to title matches and future event stuff. So it's all happening. on the channel. Speaking of what's happening on the channel, yourself, you are the primary host of our one of our flagship podcasts, if you will, the International Spyro Grand podcast, and its sister project, I guess, the Spyro Speedruns cast. So talk a little bit about that, and do you prefer being a host, or do you prefer being a guy that sort of gives his opinion out on that cast, or a bit of both?
Yeah, so I took on the role of the podcasting host. I felt like there was still a place for it in the tournaments. I felt like it was missing from round 2, like from last year. It would have been very interesting to see, I felt, who would have predicted the groups, because the groups last year were like so close. There was very little between them.
True.
And I generally love doing it. The cast, it's great fun. We always have great topics going. It's great to hear different people's opinions. I would say I enjoy hosting it more, because I feel like the role suits me more as a host than as a pundit, and like you can still kind of give your view, but like you can kind of be a bit more measured, and it's good to kind of like have a wee project going. Like it's great, like saying, okay, how can we improve this? What went well for us last time? What award should we add? And I love doing it because it's all for fun as well. Really,
That's
like
right.
it's a great addition to a tournament. I love doing it, and everyone's welcome to be on the cast. Just hit me up. Don't ever feel like it's an exclusive thing.
It's an open invite, basically. Yeah, if you want to be on, pretty much just message, as long as you're there around at the time zone that's like permitted. If you're there when the time, when they're going to record or figure it out, you'll be able to get on. I think it's great to have as many people on as possible. That's why, same thing about getting on this, getting on this podcast or talk show, if you will. Really anyone's welcome. So I think that definitely will make for fun things to see some different people on there. There've already been a bunch on this time as well, so there's been heaps, and looking forward to more. There'll be a couple more, I would assume. Maybe 1 or 2 more, this season, I guess, during this season of ISGP, of the Spice Springs Cup, and then into the future as well. There might be some obviously stuff as we continue this year. This year is going to be big. There was no Super Gex cast. I noticed that. There was no Super Gex cast last year. You guys were too busy hosting something else, another cast. All right, Mr. Gamesendy, I know what's up. I know what's up. You cheeky bugger. You betrayed us.
I've been rumbled, guys. I've been rumbled.
You betrayed us. I tell you, I thought that you would have preferred Gex over Toy Story, but I guess I was wrong.
What can I say? I just like hearing the "I have a laser, I will use it."
Yeah. Was it? Be careful with that. It's extremely dangerous.
I'm Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger, Universal Protection.
Who invited that kid? Anyway, so that's Scott, you idiot. That's Sid. Anyway, I could just quote Toy Story all day. But yeah, no, podcast is fantastic. Very much recommend check it out. In addition to this and stuff like that, they're like good companion pieces. They're totally different, but they kind of cover very similar topics as well. And I really liked one that I really liked was the game show one. I thought that was great.
Oh yeah,
a lot of good banter in there, like especially these Triple D / Seethe Harbor / Death Triangle sort of stuff really went crazy on there, like feud wise. Guys were full on attacking each other. It was pretty violent. It was great.
Oh yeah. It was very entertaining as the not cast host, but also as the quizmaster.
Yeah, quizmaster. Yeah.
Hearing these boys going at each other, and it was a very close quiz as well. I think there was like 2 points in it.
Pretty much. Someone fucked up.
I believe you were on the winning team for that. So
I was. You got it. I was. It's like me, Brandon Black, and like Danter, I think, or something like that. Yeah. Cheers to that, as they say. So, outside of ISGP, you're probably one of the more, at least when when COVID wasn't a thing, someone that was doing a lot pre-COVID and stuff like that. What do you do? What do the people that may not know about your outside ISGP career? Who is Conor David, the man?
Well, he hails from Ireland, Toonie SA.
Yes, he does. Tooney has said he's from England like maybe 600 times. I'm convinced it has to be an inside joke at this point. Then again, he did when he sent me footage of Liam's again for his race against Liam. He said versus Luke. So I am slightly concerned that he did think that his name was Luke. This man teaches children, everyone. But he's probably not very good with names. He's got to remember like 65,000 Vietnamese names, so he's horrible.
I know, how could he? In the words of CrystalFissure, oh, guy's a criminal.
The criminals!
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, on the topic of Irishness, I'm just going to introduce some people who don't really know. I am a big fan of the Irish game of hurling, so I'm going to show everyone now. So this is a hurley stick which we use in the game of hurling. For Irish, you can call it a kaman, and we use this, and this is called a slitter, which is like basically hurling ball. So
a hurling ball, yeah.
Hurling is one of my big passions in life. It's one of the best things about Ireland, in my eyes, in my opinion.
I've taken
agree. I've taken our fabulous host here, CrystalFissure, and our other fabulous host, Nintendo 64, to a game of hurling between Tipperary and Dublin when the lads were over here in Ireland back in 2015.
When we were so sick at the time, we were like absolutely like the photo is just hilarious because like we just look dead. Yeah. We look like we're not having a good time. We look like trying to have a good time, but we look like so sick that we're just kind of just out of it. But the thing is, that experience, that was it Croke? Was it Croke Park? No, it wasn't Croke Park, was it?
It was Parnell Park.
Parnell Park. Croke Park's the big one, isn't it? Croke Park's the big one.
Yeah, Croke Park is it's basically
stadium, right?
Is the main stadium, GA headquarters. Guys, it's the third largest stadium in Europe, behind Wembley Stadium and the new camp.
Really? Holy shit! Wembley is in the 70k Wembley, like the Wembley that holds 70,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Wembley Arena. Yeah.
Croke Park is 82,500. Wembley's 90,000, and then New Camp's 99,000.
That's huge, and they usually do very well with the grand final, don't they? Like.
Oh yeah, it's a sellout. Like the last All Ireland hurling final I was at was a sellout.
That's insane.
Even though it was the same teams for the last decade, it was a sellout.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, hurling. Yeah, as I said, we were there, very sick. But it was like me, you, Angus, and your dad, and it was seriously so much fun. To the point where you're just watching it and you're thinking, like, especially from an Australian perspective, you're thinking, how do they do this? How do they have such accuracy with like what looks like a hockey puck, basically the hurling stick looks like a hockey puck basically. It's like, how do you hit something that small, that accurate? Also, how do you not get injured every 5 seconds, like, and get whacked in the head?
You want to be aiming for like here, basically the boss, when you're striking the ball.
The other thing is that you got to be really strong as well, because I remember when I first hit it, I had a go. And I first hit it, and I remember like being like, fuck, this is really difficult to whack. Like, you've got to like put a lot of energy into it. It's definitely a whole lot of strength to it. Very skilled sport. So it's an amateur sport, which means that they're not paid enough, in my opinion. I think they should be paid. I put it this way, this is my controversial opinion. I know this is going to piss off a lot of Europeans, but I think it is infinitely more talented than association football. I think that association football players are paid far too much compared to like hurling. I know that it's an amateur thing, but personally I see far more entertainment value in it. I don't hate soccer. I used to hate it. Nowadays I just don't really care, but I just think hurling should be put up there as one of the top sports of the world, personally. And that's not just saying that for you, because I know you play. I always liked it, and Nintendo 64 said the same. And I've actually been in the background of a scene. I was on RTE4 or whatever it was. Like
TG4 or TG Car. TG, Irish language speaking.
Irish version.
The Irish language speaking. Yeah, Irish language speaking channel.
Yeah, right. So is it owned by RTE, or is it just a different channel?
No, it's its own.
Okay. So, I don't know. I think RTE Crews were there, but I think we were in front of it.
So TG4, that game took place in the Allianz League, which is like before the championship competition. So they show those games live, and then RTE would do the highlights from all the matches. So
okay.
they would have been there as well. You see,
That's
RTE
right.
would be the main company that would do the championship games.
Got ya. Yeah, that was really okay. So yes, so we're on like the background. I'm pretty sure we did get a link, but these days the link's probably lost. You know, if you wanted to see us on TV.
Yeah.
Before we some other stuff, you've actually been on TV though, haven't you?
I have indeed. Yeah, this is something I don't think a few people might know, but some people may not know. I think the majority won't know some of these things. So yeah. Back in 2017, I appeared as a background editor on First Dates Ireland. I'm sure we'll probably pitch it somewhere in here.
Yes.
Somewhere here, where my hair's looking a lot better as well. I appeared on that, and it was a great experience. It really was, actually. It's great fun, actually, to do as well, because you kind of do a bit of extra work, and it's a lot more laid back, because like you can, like, yeah, you know the camera's going to be on you, but like the camera's not going to pick up something that you've said unless a main editor turns around to you and says, "Oh, what? I think how's your day going?" But the fella who was beside the main editor beside me, he actually was in the wee green room, actually. Like, so you basically don't go in straight away like it shows on camera. You usually like arrive at a certain time, then you have to wait for your date. So I arrived, for example, that day around 2:30. I didn't get into the restaurant until about just after 6 o'clock. So
Jeez. Yeah.
So like you're waiting there a while, and it's great. You get some lovely wine, you know.
You're drinking on the job. I love it.
Yeah, you get some nice food. You know, get some crisps. You get some chocolate bars. You know, they really look after you well. Like they're really, really down to earth company. Like, you know, who run it. Awesome. Now First Dates Ireland is on RTE as well. So
okay, yeah.
It was really
part of the RTE family.
Yeah, and it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. Like, you know,
so that sort of is linked because your other passion has always been acting as well. So you end up going to college for that, university. Sorry, and so that's basically something that you want to do. You want to kind of be in extras, be in film, be in TV, ads, stuff like that.
Yeah, if I can maintain it going, and if not, look to be like involved in drama as a creator, as a critic, because you can still be involved that way. So I've always loved acting, you know, from a young age. It was always something that it was never a chore to me. For some people, they'll be asking, would you not feel nervous going on a stage and like having everyone look at you? And no, it was never really been like that for me. I've always been like, you know, it's kind of like my comfort zone, just something I just like love doing. Really. And I've met some of my best friends through like acting, you know, from youth theatre and from college. And I actually ended up going to Hungary actually back in 2018 for a acting placement, because we had a Hungarian lecturer actually. So we did a 10-day training course in a place called Debrecen, I believe that's how they pronounce it. That's what we did there. We did that for 10 days. We basically picked a monologue, and we basically did that. So I used something from Death of a Salesman, basically for mine, and then we would have done other things like choreography, etc., choreograph, etc., like, you know, like singing, dancing, etc. And then we would have done 10 days there, and then we got the last part of our trip to Budapest, which is a really really nice city. You know, great for a holiday as well, guys. You know, not expensive really at all. I mean, it's amazing how like things that you would get over there and things you wouldn't get here is incredible.
It's because the country is unfortunately poorer at the moment. I know they've gone through a lot of economic hardships. So unfortunately, it's sort of, I think it's actually good, you know, especially with poorer European countries, it is actually good to go there, support them, you know, bring up their GDP, you know, spend more there, and, you know, it will boost their economy, and, you know, that's the hope. But yeah, I've heard great things about there, and like Czech Republic and stuff, sort of underrated European countries and cities and stuff. Yeah, so it's interesting. So yeah, so acting is definitely. I mean, yeah, for me, I never really liked public speaking that much. Sometimes I'd be really quite good at it. Other times not as good, and so I didn't like to talk if I didn't have to. So it's I guess it's interesting that you don't have that trouble at all, which is I think a great trait. Yeah. And it's not really just an acting thing. It can be good for if you're in the business world as well. If you are like end up doing like presentations and stuff like that, in a job, being able to speak in front of people is a very unique. I don't know if it's a talent to me. I guess it's a talent. It's a talent. It is a talent, but it's also
something that's luck. A lot of guts, really.
Yes, that's right.
Like,
it's hard. It's
weird. It's weird because I would have no problem like performing a play, but there is still times I do presentations and I would be like so nervous going in the room. Even if I like know the topic really well, there'll still be that nervousness because you do want whatever you're presenting to come across well and people to get the point.
Yeah.
And then as well, like, and then because it could come racing to your mind saying, okay, what are they going to ask me? What if they catch me out here? That sort of thing. But yeah, like it definitely can be a good thing if you can find something where you can just express yourself and find a way to like overcome nerves.
Yeah, definitely. So do you want to, so you're someone as well that does, as well as like the TV commercials, that kind of the acting stuff. So you quite enjoy theatre, kind of like Mr. Fraser, just like Fromond used to, Fraser. Really loved that as well when he grew up, in high school and stuff like that, and actually tried to get into an acting school. Would end up going to uni anyway, but he didn't get into the school he wanted to go to. But so you're a bit like him. You sort of enjoy the theatre aspect of acting as well.
Yeah, because my kind of like acting in my college would have been mainly theatre based. So I would have like got my love through that, and also youth theatre. Like I mainly would have performed plays, really, and then I would have read a good bit of plays for college. We read through like Sebastian Barry, Conor McPherson, Martin McDonagh, those kind of people. Don't worry, you don't know those people, by the way, guys. I didn't know the majority of these people until I went to college.
Yeah.
So I would have done that. So, and I love going to see plays as well. Like I would have gone to see a lot of plays last year until the pandemic hit. I had a lot of plays lined up to go see. I would mainly go to like here because I like to support like local, and then I go to Dublin because it's only up the road for me. So I would see mainly Irish, like
be interesting if you next time you go to Dublin, whenever that may be, whether it will be with a driver's license, because I know that you were looking to get your license as well before the pandemic. You're still getting it, but it's taken way longer than you expected, right?
Yeah, basically. So yeah, at the minute, guys, I went through my theory test twice already this year. It's basically like this is the computer-based side of it. You have to do that over here before you get your license. So basically, so it's kind of a few steps. So you got your theory test, pass that, you get your learner permit, and then you do your recommended 12 lessons in 40 hours, and then hopefully whenever I do my driving test, it'll be first time, and then I'll have my license. So could be driving around one CrystalFissure here next time it comes to Ireland.
I hope so, because it seems like no bloody Europeans drive. I tell you, us Aussies always give you guys shit for not driving as much because it's a different culture. You don't need a car as much over in Europe. But us Aussies, if we didn't have a car, we're fucked. Quite frankly, we're fucked. You need a car. You need a car in Adelaide. You literally can't get anywhere, like not efficiently without a car. Different. Like I know.
Exactly. Well, I'm kind of lucky as well because I live in a town, so I don't really need a car as much as like some of my friends do. But it's something I do want to get because it's a great thing. It's more like a personal thing. Yeah, it's just a nice thing to have.
It's a life lesson. I mean, I've been telling Fraser to get his license for ages as well. Like, it's just a good thing to know. I know it's scary to drive. It's definitely, when you first start driving, it's very scary. Like, you hop in and you have this power on your pedal, and you think, fuck, how do I control this all the time? Like, how do I make it feel like it's not going super fast or super slow? but you just get used to it. You get used to the pedal, you get used to the rules. There's a lot of rules, but you get used to it, and eventually what happens is you just pretty much just get used to driving as if it's just a part of eating, sleeping, breathing, driving. It's like the fourth thing, you know.
Exactly, like that's the thing. Everything takes practice, you know.
Yeah.
Like even with hurling, for example, everything takes practice. And you'll get used to it. Like that's the thing. I'm sure like I'll get used to driving a car, like whenever it goes. Like, you know, just taking it one step at a time. So,
as well, one of our last topics, you know, considering we've just had some, you know, back in the day at least, you know, plenty of meetups in the last few years. Of course, ISGP not even possible without myself and Nintendo Gen 64 meeting up from the internet. So now that, you know, ISGP has happened, has been a big part of the past 3 years, post COVID. Or not maybe post-COVID, but like, you know, towards the end of COVID as we are getting those vaccines out and the cases are going down. Any plans for some European meetups, some English meetups, and et cetera?
Oh yeah, definitely at some point. I know there's like a lot of talk about the Goon meetup coming, but like I've got like...
What's the Goon meetup? Because I don't think anyone here would know what the Goon meetup is.
Now, so the Goon meetup is kind of like ISGP and GRE kind of coming together. So yes. It's kind of, so I think the plan is at the minute Tooney, who's in Vietnam, is coming back to the UK, and he would like to meet up with as many people as possible. So like, you know, that would include me, that would include James Jones, Dan Davison, Danta,
Lucas,
Lucas, Al, yeah,
Luke.
I'm just trying to remember everyone. It's like there's so many people to remember. I think Az was mentioned there as well. But yeah, that's the kind of a thing that's being kind of talked about at the minute. I do have a bit exclusive. Our good friend Noel McDavid is getting married in 2023, and yes. I myself shall be flying over to Kentucky for the big day. I know Luke is also gonna come over as well. Too. CrystalFissure, you know, maybe Amelia as well.
Of course, of course. It's all happening.
Yeah, it's going to be happening, you know, probably Ryan, Prime Autos as well, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, red wine shall be involved.
Hey, Andrew, you going to Noel's wedding? Fuck yeah, I am.
Marcus, will you tell us the doorstop story? No.
No, says Marcus, the legend.
Yeah, Marcus is
a classic.
He's a good dude. Like, you know, he's a fantastic dude. Yeah, he's the classic champion as well. He's already like looking for ice cubes now, but Marcus is a good dude. Like, he's a really good dude.
Yeah,
I look forward to the race with Nick later on today.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's right. That the race should be. Yeah. It'll go up this week basically, so it's gonna be exciting. But yeah, I mean, no, same.
Yeah,
oh, good.
I got so many meetups planned. Sorry, just saying, I've got so many meetups planned with people.
Yeah, likewise. There's a lot of meetups planned for you know the future. I mean, I don't know when I'll be getting back to Europe, but I do know that. You know, yes, obviously, I think that 2023 as well, America. Who knows if I'll get back there before? I want to go to America. My personal dream, basically, as marky as this is, as like weird as this is, would be to, and I would integrate it with Noel's trip, is to basically tour America for like basically 4 weeks, just like, but like every AEW show every week on Wednesday, and then culminate with like a pay-per-view, and then hopefully Noah's wedding is around a pay-per-view, and then fly to the Kentucky for the wedding, and then go home or whatever. That'd be my dream. Just follow America around with wrestling.
For May 2023 now.
May.
I'm not sure. Is that high?
Oh my god.
So May 2023.
I see the disaster happening of, because AEW has a pay-per-view in May, like every year, Double or Nothing. I could just see the luck of Noel scheduling the wedding on the same day as that pay-per-view, and it'll be like some giant, and I'll be like, oh shit, what do I pick? And of course I'll pick Noel, but I'll probably be like watching on my phone just the whole time, like before we get into the church, whatever, like, oh shit, oh whoa, you know, or rather it won't be happening yet. It won't be happening yet, and then at the party, the after party, I'll be like watching it, like in the background, like dancing around, like, oh yeah, what's happening? Yeah. But no, I'm kidding. I know what's the best.
Exactly, like, you know, can't wait for that day. Actually, it's going to be great. I was talking to Ashley about it as well. Actually, you know, she's super psyched. Yeah, she's super psyched for all of us to come over. You know, shots will be had.
Of course. I will not be drinking beer. I'll be drinking shots and other alcohol, and being responsible as well, because I'm a good.
Exactly.
I can hold my alcohol like somewhat. There we go. All right. Okay. Anything else you want to cover before we wrap this up? Any other topics?
Yeah. So for people who don't know, actually, I actually do a YouTube series on my channel, Autism and Me. Not many people know I have autism. Like, I've had it from a very young age. I basically started doing it there last year because I want to do something unique, you know, as well. Like, you know, just do something that no one else was really doing, and just give people like insight to what actually is autism, what it's like to live with, how it works. So a lot of people, they've heard of it, but they don't actually know how it affects someone or how it kind of goes through someone. How, like, is it, like, for example, people don't know what it's actually, you know, it's an incurable condition. Like, once you're diagnosed, that's it.
You have it.
You know, there's no, exactly. You have it for life. And a lot of things linked towards it, like, you know, for example, anxiety, dyspraxia, depression. Depression is actually a big one, because depression is seen more as a mental health condition, but it actually does link into autism as well. And ADHD also links to autism as well. And so I basically have done 5 episodes so far. The next episode will be going over kind of like a mixture of things. Like, I'll be talking about anxiety, you know, empathy, sympathy. You know, a lot of people seem to think that people on the spectrum don't have empathy or sympathy, which I don't agree with, because you know, I think I know there are, like, you know, I don't think you can kind of label someone like who's on the spectrum as someone who isn't like sympathetic, because you can't really kind of, I think sympathy, I think, is something you kind of need to, you kind of have to feel yourself. You can't like force someone to kind of have sympathy or empathy for someone. They're like, if they have it, like, they'll feel it themselves.
Yes.
Really, like, you know, I hope that comes across well. It's just
absolutely,
yeah. But I think that's the thing. Really, like, you know, we can't force someone to feel something. Like, if they feel it, they'll feel it, sort of thing. So yeah, I basically, like, you know, the first episode I did was actually in Dublin. Actually, it was after I saw a play called What I Don't Know About Autism, where the writer actually has autism herself, and I actually spoke to her after it. I asked her what's her biggest kind of like issue with autism, and she actually said she finds it hard to express themselves. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that are really talkative. Actually, I know people seem to think that people on the spectrum they don't actually know how to socially interact, but they do. And I think, like, some people kind of and social interaction isn't just like kind of communication. It can be like, okay, how do I express myself in the right way? What do I say?
Totally.
Really. And she said she found that, and even like in acting as well. I remember she said that in a podcast she did that in acting you have to deconstruct yourself to like build a character, and like some of the things, by the way, you have to do even in acting as well to like get to that to get into that area zone of the character. Like, you know, you can go into like some pretty, like, you know, low points actually after it, like, even to get that. So like,
absolutely.
Yeah, so like like one thing I did, was a live art piece. I did a piece on social isolation, and so I kind of did like how someone who suffers from social isolation kind of feels, and the amount of stuff I had to get to that place was like pretty sad. And I was actually down after. Like, that's the thing. Like, you know, that's the thing as well. Like, you know, with depression, I think I brought up in my talk, actually, in my Autism and Me episode, was that like depression is something that you can't always see. It's like, a lot of it can be, you know,
definitely
hidden. Like, you know, so a lot of my depression, for example, was hidden. Like, you know, so for the outside world, I could be, they could be thinking, oh, he's in great form, like he's very happy, but when you come home, like, you know, you could be like in bits, like you could be really, really down, and like it can strike at any time, and it does actually link to autism actually as well, even though it is seen as a mental health thing.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that, like, you know, for years, you know, as recent as probably 15 years ago, people assumed that, yeah, the people with autism, and it is a spectrum, we've learned a lot about it being a spectrum, but the general autism, sort of the general reader knows about, I guess, yeah, the assumption was that, yeah, they're like very much not emotive and very much just kind of like didn't really feel much, and like either one way or another, like happiness or sadness, which I always thought was a little bit strange. I thought, like, that doesn't sound right. Like, that doesn't really sound right, because, you know, there's plenty of people that you see that disprove that daily. But I guess there was, you know, it's not the same, but it's a similar thing to what happened, you know, with years ago with, like, you know, they thought that you could just electroshock away homosexuality. You know, it's just like, oh, you know, this person is this way, let's just cure them by doing this ridiculous thing. It's like they just almost assume the same thing. Oh, this person's autistic, therefore they must just be like this. And that's just them. And that's totally not true, as we've learned, you know, extremely, you know, so much over the last, you know, decade or two. And I think, yeah, you're as well a testament to someone. I think you're probably one of the more empathetic people that I've ever met. So that's definitely disproven within seconds, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But as you know, there are different levels of autism, and of course, you know, like with, for example, like non-verbal autism, that is different. That is a different topic. That is a different severity.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a lot harder for someone to express themselves if they can't talk. You know, and that's where the, you know, as well, like the research as well, I think. You know, this is, while you're right, it's there's no cure, to use the term cure, but there is treatment, there is management, and hopefully in the more severe cases we can get to the point where there is, again, not the word cure, but being able to make these breakthroughs and potentially help people that are a lot more stuck, I guess is the word.
Yeah, and you can make strategies as well. You make strategies like to work around something, like, you know, you can, like, I would have got a lot of like help kind of like with social interaction, for example, like how to be in a social setting, like when I was younger, and that really has helped benefit me going forward. And in fact, I'll tell you something, actually, my autism as well it's actually really helped me bond with people. I've actually spoken to people about it, and they've actually said to me that fair play for doing that, Conor. Like, I would not have actually thought of it from that side until you've actually explained it. Like, I can talk to people, like, you know, who might have known someone on the spectrum, and they can now come to me and say, okay, how exactly does that work, sort of thing. Sort of thing. And, like, you know, so, like, people on the spectrum, some of them are the most famous people or best people you could ever meet, for example. Like, trying to think, there's a lot of good actors who are on the spectrum, and they're some of the most talented people you could, like, ever meet. And like, there's a quote, I can't remember who said it, might be Anthony Hopkins, but he says, when you met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism.
Yeah.
So, like, my autism is different to someone else's autism, you say. Like, you know, no two autism. Yeah.
Yeah, you
no
can't
two are the same.
paint it all with the same brush, basically, and that's why that is also why it's such a complicated topic as well, and that's why there isn't a catch-all. You know, there are, you know, someone could come in here and go, well, actually, my son is like autistic, and they had a completely different experience. So, you know, as long as you're not generalizing in a negative way, I think that it's totally fair for everyone to have their own experiences and talk about it and stuff like that.
Exactly. As well as that, from my experience on the show, I've made a talk about my experiences before I go on to other topics of it, and I try as well to not overload information, because you want kind of people coming away understanding, but you don't want to like overload people with information as well. Like, so I try to keep them like long, but not too long. Yeah, that makes sense. And thanks to everyone who I've sent a few of them to a few people. I want to thank everyone for like watching.
They've done well. They've done well. You got a lot of people from your real life have, like, you know, commented and stuff like that. So yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to the next episode. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the Spyro Switzerland's Cup turns out for you guys. I know that as of now, you and I will face again in some capacity. Exactly. I know we put out a challenge to you guys with James Jones and Fraser. Whether you guys accept is a different topic, but we're gonna be across from each other again soon. Yeah. I think sooner rather than later. Put it that way.
Yes, we shall.
Yes. Well, with that, we wrap up this 50-minute call. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully you guys watched the whole thing. Plenty of good stuff there, as you would have just heard me talk about and with Conor. And we'll be back. You'll be back with more casts. You'll be back with more Autism and me. You'll be back with another race. Back in another event. Could we see you in the World Tag League? Is that something you're thinking about?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about it now. Just trying to think, because I just got to think who's available really as well, because I know people's schedules keep going. So I was actually thinking who'd be I was thinking maybe someone like Casey or Marcus or Lucas or maybe Daniel, depending on people's schedules really.
Yeah.
I don't know about Max because I know his schedule kind of changes. But
I was gonna say the Supreme Gents are probably not coming back at this stage. They might be on the back burner for a while.
I think, and we've also changed our name. We've gone. At the minute, we have Mocha and Macchiato.
Yes, I was gonna say you're no longer named after a psycho incel, murderer. That was
I just love how we just took the piss out of it completely in that one.
It was amazing. That was amazing.
It's actually one of the funniest races I ever did. It was 2018. My head off watching it.
Good fucking time. Good times. Yeah, thanks, Conor. Yeah. Much appreciated, and we'll speak soon.
Yeah, pleasure, Andrew. Thanks very much for having me on today.
You're welcome.